There's not a lot out there that can top watching trash talkers getting dusted in combat. It's never not going to be entertaining, and if we're lucky, that sort of content will continue to materialize. We just need cocky fighters to keep fighting better fighters. That's not a lot to ask. In this video, we'll be taking a look at some very famous clips, and also some clips that you may have never seen before. In these videos, you'll see the exact moment that fighters find out the hard way that being a loudmouth comes with a huge risk. Sure, losing sucks, but losing and looking like a dork in the process, that's a tougher pill to swallow. Here are trash talkers getting destroyed. I don't know if it's just me, and I doubt it is, but watching Adrian Broner get humbled is very satisfying. When he fought Marcos Maidana, he entered the bout as a brash and undefeated boxer. Now he's just a brash boxer. His pre-fight media saw him motor-mouthing, and his in-fight antics were funny, but also reassured the world that Broner is a jerk. However, Marcos came prepared not just to box, but to give Adrian a taste of his own medicine. Maidana taunted back, and maybe more importantly, dominated most of the match. Broner wasn't exactly humbled after this, or at least he didn't seem to be, but this must have been a dagger to his ego to some degree. Thanks to the World of Boxing on YouTube for posting this footage. There's certain things that should go without saying. Hey, don't drive into oncoming traffic. Hey, don't just watch this video and not like it or comment. Hey, don't challenge a professional fighter when you're the polar opposite of a fighter. Well, not everyone has common sense, but we hope you do, so yeah, leave a like. But yeah, as you can see here, the smaller challenger is getting smoked by Mussin Cobre, who's a pretty good fighter against other professionals, so taking on a nobody is no big deal. However, the way the challenger approached everything did indeed get under the pro's skin, and it might have inclined Mussin to put him to sleep. But you know, fair play in my opinion. Do you think the pro went too far here? Or was it justified? Let us know down below. Well, this one is almost just too sad to show. I mean, really, this guy thought Aikido was better than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's true delusion. Sure, Aikido has its benefits, but to say it can even hold a candle to Jiu-Jitsu is pretty far-fetched. It looks like he challenged an MMA fighter to spar, so yeah, technically this isn't Jiu-Jitsu beating him, but he couldn't hang in there long enough for the Jiu-Jitsu to get a chance. This was utterly embarrassing and hopefully not the best that Aikido's got. Many of you know Dominic Reyes as the guy who pretty much beat John Jones, and then his career hit a huge dip after that controversial loss. But before making it to the big show and fighting one of the best of all time, Reyes was out here shutting up trash talkers on the regional circuit. His opponent got a bit complacent and cocky and began talking. A pretty neat way to stop someone from talking is to kick him in the mouth. I don't recommend it, unless you're in a sanctioned fight, of course. Reyes put shin to chin, and this guy was snoozing after the connection. This is one of the coolest knockouts of his career, and not a lot of people know about it. What's your favorite Dominic Reyes fight? Mine would be the John Jones fight because I'm admittedly a Bones hater. But you know, we didn't get the nod on that one. When Michael Venom Page fights, he makes it look easy. That's why Bellator trailblazer David Rickles thought this would be MVP's first test against legit competition. Caveman was quick to jump to trash talking and kept saying that MVP had no heart for whatever reason. That would come back to bite him pretty hard. In the fight, MVP really made it look easy. He landed a huge right hand that busted the eye of David. Rickles tried to bounce around and shake it off, but the blood was leaking and it was impairing his vision. You gotta have perfect eyesight to even have a chance at seeing what unpredictable attack MVP's throwing next. So, without full vision, Rickles opted out. Of course, it does look really bad. He went from saying MVP has no heart to quitting mid-fight. But what people don't realize is that getting knocked out is pretty dangerous. Though going out on your shield seems like the brave thing to do, any doctor or smart fighter would say it's the dumb thing to do. What do you think? Was David smart for calling it when he knew he was defeated? Sound off in the comments. From winning to losing in just seconds, a loss like this is the type of thing that'll keep a fighter from a good night's sleep for the rest of their life. Though he was ironically nearly put to sleep in this clip. After rocking his opponent to the body, the boxer in purple shorts named Campbell got cocky and just stood in front of his opponent. Well, it's a boxing match, so boxing is gonna keep happening. Peden loaded up on a huge left hook and fired away. The shot landed flush, and Campbell did absolutely nothing to defend it. Really, this is just so embarrassing. Shout out to ABHD on YouTube for this footage. Be sure to check out that channel for some great content as well. This clip never gets old. It's one of the coolest knockouts of all time. The fighter in the red gloves has some serious moves, but he brought Dance Dance Revolution to a Street Fighter game session. A lot of fighters save going to the club for after the fight, but this guy wanted to bring the club to the fight. Similar to MVP, who we talked about earlier, this fighter was trying to hide his punches and kicks behind awkward movements and dancing. He got a bit too into it and ate a head kick for his troubles. Now, I don't disapprove of fighting like this. Had he got the knockout, he would have had a sick highlight for his reel, but it wasn't him that added to his highlight reel on this night. What do you think about taunting during fights? I think it's pretty cool. If you disagree, go ahead and drop a comment.
Joe with a high kick that lands and then a jab to follow it up. Again with the jab.
Oh! This always sinks!
When you're fighting someone who's known for their knockout power, defense is a good thing to keep in mind. Heck, I'd hate to get punched by a 5-year-old, let alone a professional boxer who prolifically punches people to sleep. That wasn't the case here. The boxer in black gloves was inviting his opponent to throw shots at him, which is a tactic in fighting used to get heavy hitters to gas out and lose their punching power. But you know, sometimes they actually land the shot you were asking for. It is a dangerous gamble. A series of right hands find the jaw and put the man who was asking for the shots to the mat. We saw what he was going for, and he was doing okay at shelling up, but when he got figured out, it ended poorly for him and put him on a list like this. Bernard Hopkins is a legend and an absolute icon, but this wasn't the best look for him. He made things about race, and though times were different back then, and he did claim to have dealt with racism in the sport, this wasn't very cool of him. After screaming that he would never let a white boy beat him, it was a bit embarrassing for him to get dropped out of the ring and onto his head. A masterful performance that defied the odds that night. Really, this was a great fight from both athletes, but the trash talk prior is one of the main takeaways, and it's pertinent to boxing today. Let's look into that.
Possible opponent.
Big right hand. He's out.
Oh, my God. That's Smith. Dan Rayfield suggested as an opponent.
Just like Calzaghe did, Caleb Plant dealt with a boxer saying they would never lose to someone of a certain race. No matter what race that is, boxing is boxing, and the skill is all that matters. Color won't help anyone in the squared circle. Plant went out there and showed that he's one of the best in the world. He ripped a hook to the body, chambered up, and sent the same shot to the head. This is one of my personal favorite combinations in fighting, particularly when Dan Hooker beat Gilbert Burns. Oh, and Plant followed this up with one of the coldest celebrations in boxing history. Thanks to AQ Fighting and Culture Boxing for the clips we used. When Chael Sonnen is serious, he's a scary guy. Whoever said don't start a fight, but finish one is stupid. Never let someone hit you first. Ask Chael Sonnen. If someone enters arm's reach and looks like they have bad intentions, then a fight has started. Silva got near him and was saying, "Wanna now?" And when someone with the nickname the Axe Murderer is trying to scrap now, it's fight or flight time. Chael is as gangster as they get, and he went fight mode. In jeans and flip-flops, Sonnen was able to blast double the Brazilian and win the fight before the fight. "I can't let you get close" is one of the best quotes in MMA history. What's your favorite Chael Sonnen moment? If you can't tell, I'm quite the fanboy. Let's talk Sonnen moments. And, well, of course, they had to get a fight in for the record books. Chael and Vanderlei didn't get to meet in the UFC for a long list of reasons, but they did meet in Bellator. Better late than never. But I would have loved for this to have happened when it was supposed to, and in the UFC. This fight went about the same as it did on the set of The Ultimate Fighter. Chael's wrestling took over, and his chin held up. That's not to say that Silva didn't have his moments. That guy can crack. Ultimately, it was Chael Sonnen who got the win and proceeded to remain undefeated, undisputed. Another one in the win column, another one for the highlight reel, and another one for the bad guy. Shout out to MMAweekly.com for this footage. I think I've given this one about 500,000 views that it has on their YouTube page. Be sure to add that to them and give them the credit they deserve. Yet another example of instant karma. Though, that's saying that shaking your head no warrants getting knocked out. So maybe that's a bit extreme. Whatever though. The boxer in the black gloves is utilizing the Philly shell defense. Floyd Mayweather is a great example of this defense done right. And really, it wasn't done wrong here, it was just a fault in the armor. His hand was up, and typically, it's the other side where fighters are able to expose the Philly shell. Not here though. The boxer in white kept getting his hook blocked, and he decided not to go in for the chin, but rather the temple. This landed right after his opponent was shaking his head. Well, this shot shook his head even harder. He went face down after this, and that's how to stop a fight in style. Do you like the Philly shell defense? What's your favorite fighter that uses it? I really like Bobby King Green.
Ryan Hawk upstairs, Edwards shakes his head out.
If you think taking a few boxing classes will put you in the spot where you can easily defeat a jiu-jitsu practitioner, you'll be wrong more often than not. This guy boxed a little bit and then challenged a grappler. Of course, most every fight starts on the feet, but pure boxers have no idea what to do when on the ground, seeing as their martial art has zero play on the ground. That jiu-jitsu practitioner grabs onto a front headlock, drops for a guillotine choke, and gets in really easily. You can't check hook your way out of a choke. So boxers better check hook before the choke can get applied in the first place. Finesse Jiu-Jitsu TX posted this footage. Be sure to check them out.
Striking versus Jiu-Jitsu.
There's a lot you can do with your opponent's gi when in a tournament, but removing the top completely isn't allowed. Really, I'm unsure what the goal was. Like, was she looking for a break or a stand-up? It's beyond me. Nonetheless, this cheating didn't work out for the girl on the bottom. She went on to lose the match, despite her dirty efforts. Jiu-Jitsu can even beat cocky wrestlers. Check this clip out. This girl, who's a Jiu-Jitsu blue belt, took on a male wrestler. Granted, they didn't start from the standing position, but grappling is grappling. We were going to get into a scramble anyway. The girl's as quick to take the back and work for a rear naked choke. Now, a lot of wrestlers have a decent understanding of submissions, but they don't specialize there. Wrestling is about getting a fight to the ground. Jiu-Jitsu is about ending the fight on the ground. As we can see here, Jiu-Jitsu is really good at doing just that. Shout out to Vision Jiu-Jitsu on YouTube for the footage. This one is a bit weird. It's an adult woman taking on a teenager in competition. The older woman straight up stiff arms the younger girl. It was almost a strike, which is far from allowed in grappling tournaments like these. Go do combat jiu-jitsu, lady. Regardless, the younger girl kept her composure and eventually locked in a triangle choke. The woman taps out, and it seems like the choke is let go of right away. However, she had a lot to say once she got up. She was lecturing the younger girl about when to let go of a choke when really, the only person who should have been accosted here was her for that linebacker push she used earlier in the match. Well, yeah, this did not go as planned. Karate combat sport is always fun to watch, but this promotion took things to the next level, and we have action like this. The weird slanted border of the arena is different and can cause some awkward situations, but it can be a bit funny. The fighter in the black pants was just chilling out on the slanted ringside and asking for his opponent to try and hit him. It's like when your older brother is trying to hit you, but you're on your back just bicycle kicking at him. Well, the fun and games were over when the fight returned to a standing one. A head kick landed just moments after the dude in the black pants was taunting and having the time of his life. No doubt this was a solid kick, and the fight was stopped right then and there. When a fighter goes down like that, you know it's over. But I got a feeling that his ego might have been a bit more injured than the head in that moment. This was far from ideal. Marching forward with your hands down can look so sick. Like, look at 5th round Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya. Even me, an Izzy fan, can admit that Sean was cold in the best way there. But when you play that game, it's a huge, huge risk. This guy was marching his foe down, but when he had his back put on the fence, he lost that spunk and got sparked. Like most of these entries, this was embarrassing, but also, that knockout was pretty gnarly in and of itself. Just as the commentators said, this man got what he wished for.
2 hooks connecting with the right, then the left. Finishes romantic. Wow, bro.
That does it for the video. How'd you like the content? Let us know down below. Be sure to like the video and share it. It really does help out the channel. What do you want to see next? Let us know. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to make sure you never miss a future upload. Catch you next time.